lost. I feel like the Magnus doesn't complement their playstyle. I think Magnus, as far as a really good Magnus, like I'm not saying he has a Magnus, but I feel he needs to play fast tempo playmakers for his team.
Did you just abbreviate Magnus and bad into a Bagnus?
I might have. I didn't mean to do it.
Damn, dude, that's pretty savage.
Yeah, but yeah, so I feel he should be playing more high tempo heroes. He needs to play his Legion Commanders, his own Bat Raiders, his own playstyle of heroes, and I feel like Magnus is too slow tempo for this team. Because in general, he needs to play like the aggressive playmakers, and then this hero doesn't really do that. He wants to get his items and farm and empower your cores and camp them and not really make plays. And yeah, so
might have been a slight mismatch between the tempo of their cores in last game, because they had 3 heroes who aren't that fast in the game. They have very slow starts from both PL Ember and Magnus. It takes them quite some time to get going in the game.
Yeah.
And I think LGD really abused that tempo last game.
Different first 2 bans this game. OG actually elected to ban Night Stalker instead of the Kunkka.
Yeah.
So now it changes the game a little bit. I think it'll make S4's game a bit easier on the Magnus, you know, finding those initiations and pick-offs with his RP.
Another set of respect for Ana's Alchemist gets first round banned by LGD.
yeah, they get the OP bug as well.
Nyx Assassin.
Yeah, they go like in China they call it like OP heroes bugs, and Nyx is literally a bug. So it's like call him a bug. He has like insanely high win rate in this tournament.
They had this option in last game, but they opted for Phantom Lancer against the Bat Raider in the last game. But they probably changed their minds. I think it's a fine approach if they want to stick to the Magnus. But switching up their opening a bit is probably a good idea.
Qualitatively, what's the difference between the Kunkka Bat Rider combo versus the Night Stalker Bat Rider combo?
I think Night Stalker is a much stronger laner. He has really high armor. He has a strong nuke, and as soon as you get nighttime, him and the Bat can play together. You can do anything. Like last game, you saw even though it was Bat support, the Bat and the NS still played together at nighttime, and they made plays. And you can still do that when the Bat is core as well. And it's just a really good combo. I think Bat Kunkka has a slightly worse laning phase. I think also when you do this, the potential for 5-position Bat is also weaker, because I think Kunkka is a weaker lane support.
Yeah.
So when you have Bat and Kunkka, I feel like the support duo of that is weak. And if you pick that, I think you can contest their lanes. I feel OG should really contest the lanes of LGD, but I feel like throughout this team, the past year, they don't really put much importance in the laning phase. And I feel versus LGD as a team, I don't think you should. Right now, I don't think you can give any Chinese team a free laning phase. I feel like the Chinese supports are like they're too good at maximizing everything and understanding movement. And like our kind of general plan versus these Chinese teams was to contest their supports. And I feel like OG, when they picked this duo of like Magnus and Nyx, it plays into China's hands. Of like, you know that the Nyx is a very weak at contesting, and the Magnus is going to be weak at contesting. So it's like, yeah, no, this was a really good pick by LGD. This is Sven, and the Sven is going to get like uncontested free farm in the safe lane versus Magnus.
Do you guys think that the Nyx Assassin is enough counter to Bat Rider's Lasso, or do you think Fly might pick up a defensive support like Oracle again, or perhaps even like maybe a Vengeful Spirit or Disruptor?
I think it's kind of hard because LGD has not shown their 5-position yet. So the Silencer is still there as an option that we talked about last draft.
Oh, I see. You're right.
So picking a defensive support into these 3 heroes is probably pretty scary. But I think you talked about Kunkka Bat kind of forcing Bat into an offlane role, right?
Yeah.
And I think that if that's the case here, if LGD opts to play to put 11 on this Bat Rider, it works out rather well, because I think Nyx Assassin is way better against the core Bat Rider than he is for a support Bat.
Oh, okay, the Wyvern. The Wyvern versus the Sun counter.
So I think if they opt for Silencer, I think it doesn't have that much synergy with Kunkka in the lane, but I think if they just play a slower game with Bat Silencer, play their safe lane trial lane, it should work out pretty well for LGD.
This was kind of a open Sven pick, you know, kind of just like third picked here. I don't think it's particularly great against Magnus or Nyx. They just kind of picked it. Do you think Sven is in a good enough place for that to be a viable strategy?
I think it's fine because it eliminates Snowtail's hero pool. He plays a majority of the CK and PO in this tournament.
Oh, I see.
And when you pick Sven like this, you eliminate that. Now I think they wanted Magnus Chaos Knight. Magnus Chaos Knight's a really good combo because CK has problems farming, but when you empower him, He plays a really fast tempo. Like he'll push waves and he'll farm super fast.
Now they're going to stay away.
I think that was a really good Sven pick because even though the Magnus is good versus Sven in the game, it's like Sven will get free farm and then it eliminates No-Tail's hero pool. And now he's going to have to play. It's going to be an awkward here, I feel, for him right now. I don't really see what he's going to play.
At this point with LGD, increasingly clear that Bat Rider will likely be in the off lane with Kunkka and Shadow Shaman going to be taking the 4 and 5 support roles. Sven is carry. So LGD at this point missing a mid player. Earlier on you mentioned the Winter Wyvern counter to Sven. What is the element of that?
Sven's got really high physical damage, so if you ult, use Winter Wyvern's Curse on somebody that's near Sven in a team fight, Sven will just smack his ally and like 2-shot him. You can also freeze somebody and they'll take 0
physical damage.
Yeah, 0 physical damage, and Sven is basically 100% physical damage.
Yeah.
400% physical damage.
Yes. Any number you want over 100 works for me.
I actually don't know what OG pick here. I'm trying to think of their hero pools. I feel they, God, not sure. What melee core do they pick?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this Magnus.
Yeah.
You just start, you have to
Because
deal
it
with heroes that
also
are great against melees.
eliminates Ana's Invoker. I don't think you can pick Magnus plus Invoker. And eliminates a lot. Ana's a very farm-heavy mid player.
Think they'll go back for Ember Spirit again?
What is this? Juggernaut.
Juggernaut.
Okay. Probably for No-Tail, I guess.
That matchup.
How do you feel about No-Tail's Juggernaut?
I mean, he played Juggernaut a lot in the old OG, remember, with Miracle when they won. But this hero feels so weak in this patch. He's been so nerfed for a year.
Yeah, it's a nice diffusal blade hero.
It is. I think Juggernaut has been. I mean, he's not the greatest hero this patch, but I think he's been undervalued in some matchups. For example, against Kunkka, Juggernaut excels, I think, because he doesn't have to care about X marks.
Doesn't have to go BKB.
Doesn't have to go BKB. He's also fine if he's laning against some Bat Rider. If he has to support, he doesn't really have to worry about dying in the lane.
This is the first instance of seeing Juggernaut at the main event.
That's surprising. Juggernaut's been a hero for like the last however many years. He's always been somewhat in the meta. But yeah, Jugmag, a timeless combo.
That was super huge with the Kiev Major earlier this year.
Yeah, it's been huge a couple times over the last couple years.
It's been around. It's popped up here and there at tournaments where all of a sudden Mag and Jug are just first pickable.
It's one of those strategies that you just can't forget of. Like no matter how bad the patch might be for Magnus and Juggernaut and physical damage carries, you combine these two together and they can produce something great.
Yeah. And Juggernaut is one of those carriers that benefits a ton from any buffs on him, pretty much. Like if you pair him with some Ogre Bloodlust, if you pair him with Magnus and Power, he just skyrockets as a hero.
I really like the Shadow Shaman pick from LGD. This is going to give them the ability to force down towers or maybe do Roshan, and I think that's where Kunkka is definitely going to excel. Kunkka is one of the best 4 positions in team fights. You can't underestimate his ultimate.
I have an idea. I think OG should last pick Venomancer mid. I feel like that'll salvage this game for them.
And why do you think that?
Because I feel Veno completely owns the way LGD wants to play this game. It'll give vision, and it'll give vision for Magnus. I feel like you need to play fast tempo. I feel like if they're going to give the lanes to LGD, I think LGD's timing is too fast if Sven gets free farm. Because the thing about Sven is if he gets free farm, he gets masked really fast, and you're going to give your support, Queen of Pain.
I was on board with the Venomous already as well. It matches up incredibly well against Bat. And it's also kind of a counter to Rum that most people don't think about. If you go into a fight and the enemy team has a Rum on them, you get Poison Nova off. As soon as the Rum starts ticking down, the Poison Nova damage just demolishes heroes.
Queen of Pain's a pretty safe pick though, especially when you don't know your enemy's mid laner. Queen of Pain generally matches up pretty well against most heroes.
Oh, Storm versus Quap Nyx.
Spicy pick?
I'm not a fan of this. I think they should have picked a superhero here. Superheroes like the heroes that are these melee heroes that just sit there in lane.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we now have the lineups set. Storm Spirit versus Queen of Pain, the last 2 picks will be facing against one another in the mid lane. With OG down 0-1, they have to clutch it here for the opportunity to play once again for their tournament life. It's time for Game 2 of LGD versus OG.
That's right. Thank you, Sean. Game 2 on the horizon. And Lumi, OG, I'm going to say they mostly stick to their guns here. The first overall pick, Magnus, remains the strategy. Obviously, very happy to grab the Nyx versus the Bat Riders. That's something where the draft looked great for them, but how much do you worry about their ability to deal with the Sven, maybe to a lesser extent the Storm?
I think the Storm is going to have a little bit of trouble in the mid lane. First of all, Queen to me is a good matchup against the Storm. Fly likely will fly into the mid lane with Arctic Burn and give him a little trouble. Kunkka, on the other hand, is not exactly the best laner. So in terms of the 2v2, I think Ana is going to have the advantage. But the big thing for me is the Sven. Sven, I mean, notoriously is one of the best counter to Juggernaut, right? Like what you used to see.
War Cry and Omnislash
right,
does
what you
very
used to see in Pro Dota is like one team's pick a Juggernaut and then the other team counters the Sven. But this time they pick Juggernaut into the Sven. The War Cry, like you mentioned, so good. Also, Sven is one of those heroes that once you blink in and you stun, whether it's a Magnus or Juggernaut, they just die. So that's a big concern here for OG.
Patience from Zoe.
We'll get underway now. Game 1 was very back and forth. LGD barely pulled it out. It came down to just a few clutch moments. Like if that Echo Slam had been on cooldown just a little bit longer, maybe the game goes entirely differently. So OG, back to the chopping block now, heading into game 2. Laning setup looks pretty much the same. They're going to still keep Ana mid on the Quap. I think the one thing that really stood out for me in game 1, Lumi, was just how much Ana struggled. He died, what was it, 4 times very early in the game. He eventually caught up a bit in farm, but felt like he was always playing from behind.
And that's a really rare look for OG. Generally, they give Ana a lot of help. I don't expect that to happen again this time around. He has the matchup advantage. He's going to get help from Fly again, so he should be okay.
Early D-ward here for LGD. As 11 will strike pay dirt.
I think the most important thing about this game, apart from the draft, is the way that OG chooses to play it. You know, something that Pano kept talking over and over again is the speed of the game, the tempo of the game. And OG does have some heroes that could kind of come online very quickly. No Tail on the Juggernaut, look towards him to make that smoke gank around level 6, level 7, use that Omnislash. Same thing with Queen of Pain here, a hero that comes online very quickly. That will help Magnus to actually get that blink online. Last game we saw that OG did absolutely nothing until the blink came online. And I think OG this time around will have a lot more play before that point on.
They have multiple ways to get the game started. They also should have a better time here mid with this Queen of Pain pick.
Yeah, for sure.
The other thing for OG is they're better at taking Roche. Like, they have the Mag again, but this time they have a Jug instead of a PL or an Ember, so...
Yeah, both teams could actually take Roche very easily. We've been seeing actually Yao opting to go for Medallion of Courage, and then he just walks into Roche, pops down his ward, the Medallion, and take Roche like that as well. So I think the mid-game fights will determine who gets the Aegis.
So as mentioned, Batrider did get a very early D ward here up top, and that is going to give him maybe a bit of a laning edge. We'll see some early pressure from Jerax. He does plop down a ward around the tree line. Might have been scouted by LGD if they have their own ward over near the cliff. Jerax will come in for a bit of early pressure, but they're fishing with the Torrent here on that Queen of Pain. Now, harass some Jerax, so an early 2v2 skirmish, but OG are fighting uphill into the storm. So, other lanes, the Bat will be offlane in a 1v2. We're going to see S4 in the offlane again, also in a 1v2. Anything standing out to you about this laning setup?
I think S4 is going to have a tougher time. Once Yao gets his level 2, he could just walk up with Shackle and just really control where S4 can be. Also, the physical damage that Yao could throw out was a lot. Meanwhile, it looks like a TP was forced out.
No proper stuns here in this top lane, so we might see a lot more of that from 11 until that Wyvern manages to hit level 6, or until they bring Jerax in. Speaking of which, he is moving about, but under cover of a Radiant Ward, so won't get very far on that gank opportunity. Tries to find out where the openings are. Seems like LGD either didn't see that ward or just have not been able to de-ward it yet mid, so could help Ana to fight uphill. So far, even Stevens here as far as most of our cores go. Offlaner's really struggling, but 11 is going to get caught out here. Jerax lurking in the trees. 11 will continue to just walk away to the north. The Firefly is available. They're really pursuing this. OG are going to commit so much that even by the time they get this first blood, No-Tail might miss half the creep wave, and I don't know if they even get it. He's just going to skate all the way around the long.
He's even going to take the bounty rune.
Magellan would be proud as 11 even grabs the bounty rune. Salt in the wound.
Meanwhile, bottom lane here, Yao does have the Shackle available now, and look at how defensive S4 has to play. He kind of has to just stay in the tree lines now. Or just hope that the creeps are pushing into him.
Very patient play there from old 11. So, still Jerax trying to pressure this middle lane. Seems to be going relatively even so far, though Ana is harassing him fairly heavily. No courier snipe attempts, really, in this series as of yet. Seen a lot of that previously.
One thing I would like to see LGD do a little bit more is focus a little bit more on the Ancient stack. Victoria has been hanging around on the mid lane, but has stacked neither of the camps. Something that Boba mentioned is that these supports are very, very good at efficiency. S4 is going to get stunned into a torrent, but is there a stun? They have an X, so they can pull it back.
Here and will be caught out, brought down by LGD in a hail of chops. They get the first blood. Didn't have the mana for the skewer there.
Yeah, one thing that Kunkka, I mean, he's often considered as a very weak laner compared to things like Nyx Assassin or Night Stalker, but one thing that he does have the advantage over against those other heroes that if you're good at landing a torrent, it could come away from a very far range. So, like a Earthshaker-esque kind of gang.
This is one of the deficiencies of Magnus. Ever since that skewer range change from the old Mag, he's been a lot more vulnerable to these early ganks. So they are going to try to close in on maybe bringing 3 heroes into the mid lane. Stun comes through, and the fall from Fly might net them a kill, and indeed, JerAx secures it. They approach this time from the south, catching him off guard. A much-needed kill.
Yeah, this is kind of what we expected, picking the Storm into the prop. Just not a good matchup.
Early on, I mean, really throughout the game, LGD, until they get the Kunkka boat, they don't have the best defensive supports here, Lumi.
Warcry's
it's okay.
Okay, yeah.
But also Sven is likely to be farming a lot of the time in those earlier moments, so may not be able to assist the Storm. Definitely trying to ramp up the pressure now with the early level advantage. Could maybe go for one more gank before the Storm hits 6. Since he's only 4 for now, they'll have quite a bit of time. But a torrent fishes in the mid lane. Ana is going to get caught out here. Don't have quite enough damage. Now the X coming through. Ana trying to hold the blink and time it just right, and he will get away. Ooh, 10 HP.
The cooldown also not there for landing a remnant on top of that X. Now JerAx looking to cut off maybe.
Maybe is under the gun where he had the feeding frenzy in game 1.
He knows that
Reverse
maybe
happening now, and JerAx moves in. Maybe in danger.
Queen of Pain nowhere in sight.
Follow up,
yeah.
So actually not in danger at all.
Okay, well, he's gonna force out the shrine usage, which is not bad.
Bit of harass. Still relatively even around the board. A bit of a lead developing for LGD. Mainly it seems like through the offlaners. The Batrider has had a good start. S4 does try to contest these stacks here, but has to be careful. Respect the possibility of an additional support rotation. Do like these wards by OG Lumi. They've gotten some good jungle wards to scout the Storm, rotating off the lane, farming up the woods. You can also see one a bit farther south, just planted recently to keep tabs on this Sven, keep tabs on the stacks. Something the Batrider can also look to farm.
Mid lane here as they fire off another Shadow Strike. I think those wards are a little bit better against heroes like Night Stalker, who rotates more frequently. Against a Kunkka, he's mostly sapping in the mid lane experience, maybe going for a pull occasionally. I mean, they're good deep wards. I'm just not sure how much they're doing for this game.
Curious to see how much OG commit. They definitely want to keep tabs on maybe here. Shadow Strike coming into Victoria. Fishing with the Torrent will drive them back. OG still keeping the pressure up, not wanting to give maybe any kind of start. And now the counter stun come through the follow-up. JerAx gonna get the job done. No deny. Victoria now Xing. JerAx back in, but safely away from tower range. And while that was happening, No Tail delivers a solo kill on the bat top. So OG firing on all cylinders as they come out hot.
Well, this is definitely bottom lane here as we have S4 being shackled up. The Stormhammer.
They have the damage though. The Warcry, they can try to run him down. Long range nuke.
Shrine, tap that shrine, my friend. He will use it just in time.
And now they're going to look for more. Ame suddenly in a bit of danger, can be cut out a bit. Yao definitely in a lot of trouble. They'll bring the Shaman down. Might not be able to chase Ame, but they're thinking about it. OG make it 4-1 for them.
Yeah, this is something that
might even go for more Lumi. That ward did scout the Sven.
Well, they'll take the stack. I think if you could take it away from Sven, that's
they can catch him coming in to farm it. He gets clipped first by a stun from JerAx.
They got spin
coming through. There's the Blade Fury. Ame very tanky, but they are working him down. Now the Warcry. Yao's there to try to hold the line with the shackles. He gets pile driven back deep into the OG, clutches the Stormbolt's there. It's a good 1-on-2, but still the chase forward. They lock down Yao. They'll finish him off again. OG 5-1 to start now. And almost 6-1 as Victoria limps to the well.
LGD the laning stage. That was the mantra from the panel. Play a fast game. And they've done both. LGD now struggling a lot.
I mean, you could talk about some of the late game matchups. You know, maybe Juggernaut on paper, not the best versus a Sven. But at the same time, OG, like you said, game plan is don't let it get there.
Yeah. And the other big thing is, I already mentioned the lack of ancient stacks. There's one in the jungle. they just need to keep stacking. You have both Batrider and Sven and Storm. All of these heroes need to accelerate ahead through stacks.
But you have to be careful because OG can steal those stacks relatively early with the Magnus and the Jug.
They just haven't been trying. That's the thing, though. Like, I just think that they're falling behind from the lane stage, and there's just no catch-up mechanism. I don't think heroes like Kunkka, Storm, or the Sven could fight right now, and thus your other option is just to farm. But where do you get that farm?
Well, OG say not in your jungle. Jarex already creeping in. Ame has abandoned this bottom lane. They're going to park N0tail there, and Jarex continues to hound him. 4 LGD heroes converging on mid. They're being pressured by Ana here. They're being pressured by N0tail bottom, and now they're giving the Magnus that top lane. So OG spreading the map, winning the economy game, and keeping LGD very much in a defensive posture. This is a far cry from last game, and now they're going to make a move forward. Commitment onto Victoria. Follow-up comes through with Ana working him down. They'll get the kill. Fly with the finish.
Shaco?
And now maybe Jarex the trade. The Shackle comes out. One more tower shot. Retaliation from LGD. But N0tail, the real winner of all this, as he did take the tower down bottom. No deny for LGD. The map starts to feel a little more claustrophobic.
Yeah, also look at the item that N0tail is going for. Normally for more late game kind of Juggernaut play, you go for like Yasha, Diffusal Blade, take advantage of the agility that you get. Works very well with the power. This time he's getting drums. He's looking to fight early, and again, that's this game plan for OG. Fight early, fight fast. Don't let LGD stand their ground and set up.
Now Sven's mid. Storm's off to the bottom lane. They just can't seem to find a configuration they're quite happy with. As N0tail sets up, he does know that Storm has ultimate, so unlikely to be a kill, but hey, mid lane is not a safe farming zone either. Ame already licking his wounds. Will TP back to the well. Yeah, does complete the Mask of Madness, but OG, eyes set now on the tower in the mid lane. They're even going to scan behind it to try and see are there any LGD heroes that could be killable? But meanwhile, LGD might be finding their opening now. They need this kill on S4. X to start it off. Torrent can follow it up. Comes through. He tries to time the skewer right, but won't be quite there. And now the turn is in. Comes Ana looking for the finish. He will get Yao, but still, at least for now, it's a support for a core. LGD likely happy with that, but not if Fly gets into position. Doesn't have his ultimate yet. 11 with the TP out. Should be able to get away to safety.
Like you said, no way to cancel that TP until the Wyvern level 6, so good escape. But still, though, that was, I think, a decent fight for LGD. Ana did have to commit that long cooldown ultimate just for a support kill. The problem is, right now, LGD can't really get too much objectives, or rather anything out of their kills. In fact, I think they're going to lose this mid tower very soon, as both Ana and N0tail joins up. They have the drum, they have that siege unit right behind that push.
We often talk about they are trying to make a move here top again perhaps, but as you mentioned, OG are pressuring the blink forward onto Fly, trying to catch out the Wyvern Flame Break, coming back, roasting him within, and they will secure the kill. But Lumi, if they lose this tower mid, we often talk about these towers being so important for Roche control, but it's also very important for maintaining jungle control. And when you have a Sven, a Storm, and a Batrider, you really want to be farming stacks.
Yep. You know who's farming stacks right now? N0tail. He's stealing your stacks. He's in your jungle all the time. He's not afraid of anything. Something.
Setting up on maybe here in the bottom lane. Balls away into the trees. Jarex there on the hunt. Gets the stun. He's out of mana. Yeah. He's got a few stick charges. No TP. No escape. Another stun from Jarex. Punishment for maybe. Take a nap. And a skewer will finish him off. S4 secures the kill. Did manage to buy his treads right before going down. Nonetheless, this is a slow start for the Storm.
Yesterday we saw LGD having a very slow start against Virtus Pro as well. They just get absolutely ran over. I think OG replicating that game plan should do very well here.
It looked like a very similar start to the draft, but they took a very different turn with these last couple of picks, going for Jug, going for Quap, very aggressive early to mid-game cores who can really flex on the map.
Yeah, it's also the itemization. I talked about N0tail getting the drums. I think they're going to keep going down that path. Empower is going to allow them to
see
catch
Victoria
up.
Here in the woods, going for the TP out, N0tail.
Okay.
Not going to find him in time. But an instant D-ward. OG keeping this jungle firmly under their control. Jarex hunting again. He does have the max carapace, no points in the Monoburn, just pure stun lockdown from him.
LGD smoke gank, they have the blink bat.
They could set up here right on that remnant. That's when Jarex would love to make his move. The carapace stun didn't come out though, and now the lasso holding the Wyvern in place. He's gonna have his ultimate, won't get it off. A bit of a buffed gank really for OG. Still they're gonna chase it out. Blade Fury by N0tail. Can they look for more? 11, no lasso. There won't be any further commitment. It looked like the timing wasn't quite right on the carapace, so he wasn't able to lock that Storm down.
For LGD, the game plan now is to slow down the game as much as possible and get levels on their heroes. Victoria already has 6, so he's combat ready, but they also need Yao to have that level 6 as well. Once the Shaman has a level 6, a lot of your options open up. You could go split push on his own and maybe get a tier 1 or a tier 2. You could even make a dangerous smoke play into the Roshan and claim the Aegis if you have a medallion to back up those Serpent Wards. But he's still struggling. Storm as a hero, very slow to get things off.
Diving on mid, they're going to try to catch out the Bat Rider, spin, and a win. As OG grabbed the kill on 11.
More trap!
Though, and looking for the turnaround. The wards get dropped. The stun comes through. Can they lock him down? The Wyvern curse to keep No-Tail alive. He Omni slashes his way out of that trap, but still maybe in pursuit. The healing ward sustains, keeps him alive. An incredible escape by Big Daddy, and now the lockdown to follow. Ame trying to duke it out, cleaving, but not cleaving hard enough. OG, a coup for them mid.
Well, we saw it from the Dota 2 short films. Omni slashing creeps, normally not a great play, but broke him out of that prison, and the healing ward micro was what saved his life. No-Tail, making it happen.
Obviously the phase boots up there as well, but all the while S4 still working towards his blink, so he gets a little space. See the commitment here. The Wyvern save came through, first putting him under, then the curse deployed, gets the Omni off immediately, just phases his way right out.
And the drums.
And the healing ward was there. They weren't able to focus it down. Something LGD would love to prioritize moving forward, but it's not defense that they have to worry about from OG right now. It is the offense that's ramping up. The dive goes on to S4. They'd love to keep on slowing this blink progression down. In comes Jerax, though, looking for the turn. The RP's there to start. The Torrent can interrupt, but Jerax coming through with the connection. Quapo committed. Boat keeping him alive. Turning the fight. Might be Jerax down as well. LGD making a double. Can they get the triple? Ana blinking away, but Victoria chasing him out. Do they have to follow up? They're too low to pursue. So he will escape. A nice save. LGD will not go down quietly. And OG continue to scrap to maintain their lead.
Very good play by Maybe there. He knew he got hit by the bow buff, so he just went in, even though he had 10% health at that point and very low mana. He knew that he wasn't going to die. Like you mentioned, LGD, again, their game plan is to slow down the game, make sure Sven gets the Blink Dagger. I think that's going to be the next point where LGD has a kind of a big power spike. And for now, just maintain your presence on the map with those Bat Rider things. Bat Rider is struggling. He's got the early blink, but since then he's only been able to find 1 or 2 ganks.
It's such a hard bat game, right? Like just the Nyx alone is a problem. Someone you go on can maybe be saved by the Wyvern, but here comes Maybe trying to jump that Wyvern, locking him down. Good nuke damage coming through and gets the kill.
Yeah,
a nice pick for LGD. Space created. Still the bat holding the lasso in reserve.
You say it's a bad game. It's also, to me, a very bad Wyvern game. Co-Embrace, to me, does very little. Only is good against the Sven. A lot of these heroes have magic damage that could layer over the Co-Embrace.
That is true.
And Curse, although a very good spell against the Sven lineup, Storm just gets to run all over you. Wyvern's cast range is decent, but Storm will just go to the backline into every fight and find a solution.
Find Jerax here. Carapace coming out, the bow commitment though, and now the Sven getting Carapace, but push back in. Look for the dive from 11. Storm racing through the middle of this, and now the Omni Slash juggled nicely by LGD. It's not very effective, and the curse is there. The curse, huge play by Fly. Is it enough though? They now chase forward. The stun comes through. The healing ward keeps him alive, but still the lockdown. Still the lockdown. Ana's waiting. Doesn't have the ult, but does have that slow damage. Fly keeps his brother No-Tail in fighting shape. Victoria hanging on. Ame still swinging that cleaver, looking for more. Ana's low, but Ana will prevail. He stays alive. The torrent from Victoria again, trying to salvage this fight, taking the cores down. He may pay as well. Goes for the TP.
Is he gonna make it?
Yes, he will. Wow. Everybody hitting the deck, and S4 says, great. A little farming time for me. Finally, they leave me at peace.
I mean, that was a 5v4 engagement, and OG still came out ahead. Of course, like you mentioned, S4 got the farming time. He is going to have Blink for the next team fight. LGD, though, still okay one for them, given the situation that they're going through.
God, though, you said, though, there's a lot of nuke damage to counter this Wyvern, but Fly has been hugely impactful already.
I think the big problem is that they're not taking care of that healing ward. Like that last team fight, the healing ward went from 10, 15 seconds long. That has to be Storm's job. In fact, Storm very easily could take down that healing ward.
Have another look at this fight. Omni Slash, very ineffective as it bounces between quite a few heroes, but man, that curse. It didn't feel like a 5v4. Shaman dies very early in the fight, doesn't get off his wards. Had he done that, it would have been different. So Fly coming up quite clutch there. Ana comes in late and does look for the cleanup. Good blink scream. And for LGD, losing critical heroes, the Sven dies, the Storm dies, those are heroes that need to be farming and accessing the late game. Still keeping up relatively okay, all things considered, though. Only about 1,000 down against their counterparts on the OG side.
Despite the Cold Embrace not being a very effective spell this game, Fly has maxed it. The cool thing about maxing Cold Embrace is that the cooldown. He was able to get off 2 in the last engagement. And sure, you could still damage over it, but I think the healing just overwhelmed LGD's low damage output. And now finally the blink is online on S4. We're going to have a smoke. And this time he doesn't have the pesky Night Stalker to be hounding him. So I think this
Radiant Scan isn't going to find anyone, but LGD already knows something's not right. They retreat out. Jurex, the forward scout, hunting for any wayward heroes, but it seems they will back away successfully. 11 now going to sound the retreat for himself as well. TP's home, at least for now. Bullet dodged. Still farm time. Storm cleaning up that bottom wave, now into the jungle. He will be scouted out here by some dire wards momentarily. But OG are a bit far away to
counter
pursue
smoke.
him.
Do they have a blink initiate? They do have it on the bat.
OG are a bit scattered. This could get ugly for them. They need to retreat. Jurex is in position to interrupt the chain of initiation. Oh, he's a bit too far back. Actually not there just right. Needs that carapace to come through now, but gets pushed back away from help. And now X'd into the boat. X'd into trouble. Carapace comes through, but where's the follow-up? The Juggernaut's already retreating. They're just going to sack Jurex. It's a 2-for-0 that LGD secure. And now they're on the pit. Yep. They drop the wards. Commitment to a big objective. OG have no buybacks. They need that quad bolt for the damage, Lumi. I don't know that they can fight this.
Will S4 make a play here? He has the RP available.
They do have such a good AoE combo.
They're taking it down very fast, though. Whatever the decision is, you got to come right now. No tail.
Rushing forward. He starts with the Blade Fury. The wards are going to peck at him. 11 meanwhile blinking in, trying to keep Fly at bay. And now, look for the jump. The curse was committed. It's only on a shaman. The RP is much better with the cleaving coming out. Might be enough damage. Maybe gets balled into the pit, but he somehow jumps out of there. No tail stays alive. Beautiful embrace. Now the Roche goes to work. OG 6-man, not enough though. Ame still taking him down. Jug down, but Quap is back. They go for the shackles. The Roach dangerously low. In comes on. He can clean up the shaman for sure with the help of Jurex. Dodges the stun though. They're going to have to chase for a while. That's time they're not working on the Roach. LGD can reconvene. They actually have the Kunkka boat. He's getting the mana right now for it. Do they want to fight? Do OG try to sneak this thing?
It's tough. Nobody has a teleport scroll on the side of LGD either. If you do, you could just teleport back home and have Victoria X you. This is especially important on Storm. He could just get a full mana bar.
He's pretty low on mana right now, but he's going to be getting more soon as OG commit for the Roche. It looks like LGD might just have to give it up.
I mean, imagine if Storm gets a TP, gets X back, and he could make a play at Roshan, but also it feels like OG is just too afraid. They don't have vision over the left side of the jungle, so they don't know what the HP or mana bar is.
This is giving them time. The Bat Lasso's cooled down. The RP not available.
Scan does hit the LGD.
They have the boat ready. Healing ward poking in and out of the pit. LGD know this is happening. Do they contest? Storm to the north. Sven going straight in. Look for the jump. LGD are going to take this fight.
Sven has
Blink start, trying to find the angle, and now the curse comes out. It doesn't catch a whole lot here. Just the Kunkka. They want to finish the Roach.
Waiting for the jump.
In. War cry coming out. Got 2. The boat hits 5.
Age is stolen by 11. They're going to keep chasing him down. Fly's flying ends. He's going to go down. Jurex, he's X back. He's in a torrent. He's going to be dead. They are all dead. LGD making it happen. At the Roshan pit.
Hit every single hero. OG walked into it again. LGD just not getting caught by the Winter's Curse. It only hits a Kunkka, who then gets off his boat anyway. This combo from OG just isn't coming together, Lumi.
2 fights in a row where Curse just hits a single target hero. Sven picks up his blink right before that team fight, so he blinks in. Storm also goes for the Age of Steel. Batrider also goes for it. They layer a bow on top, everyone getting the bow buff. LGD, just a perfect team fight at the Roshan, losing nobody.
What a great fight selection by LGD. They know the RP's on cooldown. OG did hesitate. I don't know if they could have killed the Roche faster had they committed, but now things are starting to spiral out of control. Maybe all of a sudden, Bloodstone up to 18 charges on his way to an Orchid. Ana trying to pursue. You'll have the Yules to interrupt the TP.
Without a mana.
Can he win the man fight though? Maybe he's still got a double damager, and I don't think he can take this alone. He's looking for backup, but backup is coming from Victoria. The torrent coming in. The crashing boat connects, and down he goes. LGD do find another. They're gonna lose Yao mid. But this Storm keeps on heating up.
One of the downsides, when you go for these kind of early game fighting items like drums and whatnot, it does slow down your mid-game progression. Is it too early to say, you know, if OG has to play for the late game? They do have Empower, so that this Juggernaut can eventually get big, but I think then we're getting to the stage of the game where, like we brought up multiple times, Sven Warcry just naturally counters what Juggernaut could give you to the team. I think OG's in a lot of trouble.
These cores definitely will be going BKB heading later, and the Nyx will likely be ineffective. You can see the intensity on all these players during that last fight.
I think that the looks we've gotten from OG right now isn't true to the potential, right? Like you mentioned, Curse has been only hitting 1.
But they don't have... Where's the setup? There's no Darkseer this game. There's no Void, like a more reliable initiation to start the fight. So they're kind of expecting LGD to make a mistake.
They have definitely more setup than what they had last game, right? Last game, S4 was just had to land raw RPs by himself. This time you have Jerax giving you vision. You know, he has he's going for the blink right now. If Jerax could go in and like stuns 2 with the Impale, I think that would make things a lot easier for S4 as well as Fly.
Definitely true. OG going for the wraparound now with the smoke up, but LGD have managed to dodge it, making their own rotation into the Dire Woods. Ame now going to clean up a couple of Ancients. Can OG find that opportunity to pounce? It's a dangerous moment to take this fight. They're going to start with the Courier. A nice consolation prize, but they'd love the hero kill. Blinking out is 11, away to safety. They might begin their siege. They plant down the wards. LGD are unfazed by this OG aggression.
Look at how safe this push is. They just drop down the wards. They don't commit any single hero.
Storm
they know
sitting
that.
on the far side of the tree line. He's in perfect position to counter-initiate if OG jump on anyone except him.
Yeah.
That ward got planted down behind the trees. 11 is coming from the side. It's a bit of a pincer attack here. Where does OG find their opening? Tower not going to die here, it looks like, but dropping dangerously low. Can OG make a move while these wards are down? Still fighting, at least for now, into some heavy firepower from LGD. Item progression continues up to 19 Bloodstone charges on the Storm. The Orchid nearly finished off for maybe. And all the while, there's a Sven with the BKB about to be complete. As you were mentioning, Lumi, OG do have a lot of potential solutions to a BKB Sven. In terms of control, they have the RP, they have the Wyvern ult, but do they have the damage to kill him?
I don't think they have answers to Sven and Storm. That's the problem. Like, Wyvern could answer Sven, but then Storm is just a direct counter to you. And also, like you mentioned, they don't have enough damage to kill through the Warcry, at least kill multiple heroes. There is one more smoke available to OG, but this is probably the last one in a while now, and they have to make it connect. Also, I do want to mention that this is the second time on the main stage where we've seen Queen of Pain being picked, and then goes for this Veil into Yule's build-up.
Yesterday was TNC, I believe.
Yes, Cuckoo playing it, and it feels like in the mid-game, you become such an ineffective kind of tempo controller type of hero. Yes, he has to get it this game given the fact that X is such a dangerous spell to play around if you don't have Yules, but it just goes back to the last point of picking Queen of Pain into this game. Yes, you do get the good laning stage against the Storm, but it's not like, you know, he did an excellent job against Maybe. Maybe was slowed down, but, you know, Maybe is still in this game.
It does show you the strength of LGD's like options for opening up drafts where like you're so worried already about this mag that you pick it yourselves very early and then you leave the Kunkka in the pool because you're banning out the Night Stalker. Like LGD are going to get something, and something, as it seems, very powerful that even forces Ana into a build he'd ideally not want to go for.
Yeah, more than anything, I think this game also shows the resiliency of LGD, right? Like, wind the clock back 15 minutes, it was LGD essentially losing out all 3 lane. Maybe was slowed down the mid lane. Bat Rider was dying a lot, and of course that 4-man rundown on the bottom side also kills Sven and the Shaman like twice. So
LGD on the smoke rotation now. Jerax in position. He broke so many to get them this far, but the dust is there. And now the commitment forward from Maybe. Reeling him in, locking him down. Doesn't finish him off just yet. The help comes from Yao. And now the tower waits. No defense in sight. Imagine LGD are going to commit for this. OG hanging back on high ground. They start to creep down. They might want to take this fight. The Nyx does have buyback.
Really,
it's
like
such a difficult engagement with Maybe way out in front. 20 Bloodstone charges. No mistakes yet from LGD. They'll back away. The next Roche could be coming soon.
Really like the way that they set up that kill on the Nyx Assassin. It was very easy for 011 to commit the lasso to get the kill, but instead they have vision on the Nyx. Storm jumps in, they retain lasso, they get the clean kill, and having lasso allows you to push very aggressively. They're going to get a tier 1 because the fact that they have lasso. And now OG
Or
pops.
will they?
Well, here
OG again, they've smoked so many times in quick succession, trying to find these pickoffs.
It was this point last game where we saw a 3-man RP.
Pacer snagged up, stolen from Ana. Will he get his revenge? No, it's 11 creeping in. Fly's been left alone, perhaps a bit too far. Oh, pushed away from the Torrent. Glimmer to ensure his retreat. Now Jerax lurks on the sidelines of the fight, but he's far away from home. LGD moving as a squad. 5 heroes converging on bottom lane. Ame.
It's giving them a lot of vision.
Bulwark out in front, and Jerax perhaps in danger here. He's in the midst of all LGD. Surely they have some detection.
There is dust on Storm, and that's it. No sentry available.
Do they pop it randomly? He'd really be sad if that were the case, but instead it's Snowtail. Gets the jump, but it bounces the Yao. The wards get planted on. Awkward positioning. Now the Purge can finish Yao off, but Sven comes a hammering, beating his way through the Juggernaut, forcing him into the trees. 11 meanwhile, still looking for the last opportunity. Does Sven not actually, the Wyvern Curse comes through, but he's not hitting anyone. OG are in a full retreat now. Maybe he's into the backlights. He's racking up the kills. They're gonna lose more. The Magnus has been controlled. S4, no RP for you, good sir.
Magnus blinked into a Torrent, and he just ate it, and then 11 says, all right, sure, I'll lasso you right afterwards. A chaotic team fight, which I think on paper favors OG because you get better looks at RP, you get better looks on Wyvern's Curse, but again, these heroes are so pressured into dropping their ultimates that the ultimates just weren't good. Wyvern was just on Sven just to try to save the Juggernaut.
And you do see some of the weakness of a Juggernaut in these scenarios where he goes in to try and start a fight with an Omni. If that's a Sven BKB Blink stun with God Strength,
that's a kill.
That hero's just dead. But Juggernaut is unreliable with the Omni bounces, and not to mention the fact that if the Warcry's out, he might not get those kills anyway. So the hero's weakness is coming into play here as LGD continue to ramp up.
We'll see this fight one more time. The Curse used defensively, and they did such a good job controlling Notail. Notail also committed the spin to use the kill earlier, so he can't spin away. S4 jumps into the the death trap.
Very unfortunate timing. I still don't think that fight really goes well for them.
Let's say that he didn't jump in the Torrent. Let's say he gets an RP there, and then what? You know, you don't have Omni Slash, Sonic Wave was already committed. Even if he RP there, I don't think anything happens off of that RP.
Sven is just feeling a bit too tanky, and the other thing is Storm was alive and not even in that area of the fight, so he would have had freedom at that point to move around freely. OG still hunting for these kills. Jerax got to get scrappy now. They might be trying to cut some waves, but LGD, it's direct and decisive from them as they move around the Roche pit, just waiting for that next Aegis. If you give this Storm an Aegis, Lumi, OG are in all kinds of trouble. The lead starts to look a bit insurmountable. 12, 13K advantage already.
Yeah, LGD also has a gem now. So you see Jerax, you know, he was so instrumental in giving them vision in the last fight.
But here comes the lasso, quick initiation, dragging Notail in deep. The follow-up comes through, Wards get deployed, but he does manage to jump away. Meanwhile, the backline's Ame, cleaving through OG, brings down 1. The commitment from Maybe, he gets 2. 3 have fallen, and now OG being routed. S4 on the retreat. He even dropped the RP, didn't get a whole lot out of it. This is going to be the 4th kill of the fight, unless he can pull out a miracle. Storm balls in, he blinks away. Looks like S4 will get out of there.
I don't know whether the camera caught it, but S4 just RP'd the ground. I don't think he got hit by anything. I guess there's just a mistake. He had a good look for a 2-3-man RP. I don't know if it was a Shaman zapping him or something, but he just RP'd the ground and then blinked in. A rare mistake from the Son of Magnus, but a huge one. Now LGD gets Roche off of that. Well, you were asking, you don't know what maybe he's going to do with the
24 Bloodstone charges, Lumi.
And he's going to get BKB on top of this. How do you kill him twice? 3 times.
He already feels not unkillable, but just very... He has to make mistakes to die right now. We'll see this fight again.
So look towards S4. He's positioning himself, and he just RPs.
Yeah, just whiffed it completely. Didn't look like his blink was disabled by anything, so
yeah,
unfortunate. But again, even if he hits these RPs, I don't know that
to me that was just a defensive one, right?
Like, Notail just isn't doing anything when you've got Warcry in play.
Yeah.
The Quap going for a defensive build, which as you mentioned, there are good reasons for, means they just lack damage.
I mean, you could make the argument that, look, you know, you drop the 3-man RP, you give No-Tail Empower, and he could make something happen. That's definitely a point that you can make. You could follow up with Winter's Curse. What ends up happening is the fact that we haven't had a good RP yet. And I don't think it's, you just have to fall S4. I just think that, like you keep mentioning, where's the setup? It's just so hard to actually land that raw RP, especially if LGD is constantly on the lookout for it.
OG still hunting with Jerax out in front, and he sees Yao. He might see an opening, but no, the Hex comes out. Quick draw from Yao. Now the follow-up perhaps. Zuzana tries to get him out safely. X is there. Torrent to come through. Such a good counter to the Carapace, just waiting it out, and then they strike with the God Strength committed. They get the kill. They look for more. Oh, maybe almost finding a third here. S4 will also retreat. It's just OG every time they try to make an offensive maneuver, Lumi. They're getting forced on their heels. Cores are dropping. The game is crumbling a bit. The wards are ready, and LGD might be going for the jugular now. They look for high ground. There's no buyback on this prized juggernaut as the blink stun comes in, and now the ward's deployed. Yao could have followed that up with a disable. But Ana will get away, at least for now. He's going to try to work these wards down, but it's taking him 2 shots a pop.
Storm
and now the
jumps
ball
in.
forward. Here comes the BKB. How do they deal with him? Trying to lock him now, but the silence is there. The Wyvern can't get up his ultimate. Fly will crumble. OG. Desperation time now for them. Ame hammering on structures, trying to bring this tower down. Tier 3 will fall. LGD closing in on the 2-0 sweep.
S4 has to be the man. He needs to look for a perfect
BKB,
RP.
though, how do you get it off right now? The bat urges him away. The structures are crumbling. Where's that RP? Where's that RP? Now he's silenced. He won't get it. At least not yet. He tries to stay alive, holding on to S4, but the Remnant. Oh, he'll blink out, but again, it's defensive play after defensive play. Lumi, somebody's got to make an offensive maneuver. No-Tail's trying for it on the rear, but the Rex are down. They need more.
RP?
Where's that RP? Still waiting. Still waiting. Still waiting. Now he's thinking about Ame, but he doesn't want to walk in. No, finally he strikes, and he does get 2. The follow-up. Where's the damage? They can't slay the beast. It's like the bristleback from last game. They've got to kite it out. Great curse. Great curse. Now they need more. Maybe he's going to give it up. They finally will be able to bring this Sven down. OG get a little bit of revenge here. 4 hit the deck, but they did lose the Rex.
1 Rex down, excuse me. But still, they finally had that look that they were getting. Unfortunately, they're unable to kill the Storm Spirit, so they're not making a dent into that Bloodstone charge counter. But still, good look here from S4. But you're seeing how difficult it is for OG to win these fights. They see the Storm, he's isolated by himself. Can they actually get off the initiation? No, he's just out.
Maybe zipping away. No-Tail now going to push that lane in. Butterfly next on the list for him. Big pickup in this game when you've Empower.
Yep.
Will amplify his damage a lot. Also a great solution to the Sven, who is not looking towards an MKB. In fact, he's thinking Butterfly for now. So wants some evasion of his own. LGD, they got the lane of Rax. They're up 14K gold, but it's not over yet. You do see that dip there. A glimmer of hope, and S4 looking for more. X for the blink skewer, and now he's going to get pulled back into the boat. The X, 11 coming through, good Yule Scepter to dodge, but now the lasso connection. He doesn't have RP, he gets pulled way up high. The wards block his path, and they converge. They bring the Son of Magnus down, and now OG must retreat, but Maybe's on the hunt. He wants some vengeance, locking them down, pummeling OG. He'll take out Jerax, it's a triple for him. Ana has to run. Don't poke the tiger, and he's not done just yet. Maybe diving in deeper. Ana getting locked down, pulled into the torrent, into the flame break. Can he blink out?
They got
the X follows him to the end, and Ana 2 and Ultra. Maybe is unstoppable now. 30 Bloodstone charges.
Well, they say this is not a Maybe hero in terms of the play style, but he definitely knows how to play Storm. Recover from a bad laning start and just went off. As soon as he picked up the Bloodstone, he never looked back.
OG taking risks, and LGD just punishing them so hard. That was 1 blink skewer, Lumi. They lose 4 heroes off of it.
Great Torrent here by Victoria as well. I think this is perhaps his best heroes. His Torrents have been so on point. It's very easy to land Torrent after X, but a lot of these are raw. I still recall that one, the one that he did on Magnus, where Magnus just blinked into the Torrent. As we see here, LGD cleans up the fight.
Well, LGD are about to break the base and go for that second lane of racks as they push in. Commitment on bottom, Sven hammering on the tier 3, and OG, they have the RP up. This could be their last hurrah. They've got to find that crucial team fight. Buybacks are
Storm's gonna
somewhat there, but they've got to commit soon. Ame jumping in. It's a maybe who gets the jump first. The X committed to drag him back to safety. Now Jarex, the Golden Brace force out. They jump in again. Torrent, perfect setup. The boat crashes through. The Nyx almost dead. Not quite just yet. Still looking for the open, and he won't get it off. The RP is still in the back pocket. Melee has fallen, and LGD can just look to retreat now. Can OG hunt them down? They're falling so far behind in economy. They will catch out the Kunkka. It's something for them. Victoria dropping the Torrent. It's really not the kill they're hoping for, Lumi. Meanwhile, Bat bottom, they're looking for more. The Quapple secures that Victoria kill, but already TPing away to safety is the Bat. So they only get a Kunkka kill for those buybacks. They blew one on Magnus and Nyx, and they still lost the melee.
It's a tough job for S4. Blinks into Torrents, blinks into Hexes. There's so many ways to control him, so many ways to see him with the Bat Rider scouting.
You desperately feel like S4 needs a BKB, but even then there's the lasso to worry about.
Yeah, it's
tough. It's becoming a game of numbers for LGD at this point. 20,000 gold advantage. Smirking as they get closer and closer to taking the game, taking the series, but now S4, he strikes, but the Hex, the cleave, Ame chews him up, spits him out, looks for more. LGD chasing forward. Now they're gonna bring down the Magnus, but they really want these backliners. No tail running through the river, tries to retreat. That opens the way on mid, where maybe jumps in, punches through Jarex, keeps on hitting. The Wyvern keeps him alive, tries to go for round 2, but will die in a hail of lightning. Now the silence coming in forward, deeper is 11. No tail with the turn though. He does get the storm.
He's back alive.
Instantly back. He's TP'ing in. He's coming for round 2.
Long jumping coming.
Get ready to ball. Fly with the TP and does make it out.
Anti-climatic
still chasing. Now he's got a bigger target too. Grabs the Samurai, reels him in, keeps on working. No tail's tanky. Push back into the flames, into the Hex, and into death. 3 down. No buybacks. This might be Mega's Lumi.
creeps in the base, so LGD could definitely just hit the buildings. In fact, they will. Ame pops a Mask of Madness, tower dropping fast. Nothing a Wyvern can do about it.
OG, they've had miracle runs in the lower bracket before, but LGD, they don't care about your magic. They're going to try for it here. A decent curse might lose them their shaman. No, he stays alive, and now the boat comes through, connects on fly. A dagger forward. Storm jumping. The silence again. They control the Magnus. They keep him away, and now 11 just buying time for his team. 1 Ranged Rex remains in the bottom lane. 11 may die in the fountain, but his team's hopes at TI live on the big stage. They'll hammer at that last lane. How do OG get in here? How do they fight? How can they stand? A Hex, a jump, a Torrent as well, and Ame, immortal in the front lines. They'll use him up. They try to fight on, but now it's the Megas, and now it might be the end. The dream dying here. OG overrun. Ana about to be pulled back in. He tries to fight. Creeps hitting the tier 4s now. LGD, they'll let OG live to fight one more day. One last push. Victoria backing away now, applauding his sacrifice. Good luck, Victoria. We wish you all the best.
Victoria is gonna farm some creeps before dying. No,
space, Lumi.
On a little bit. Hop the wand.
Space, space, so much space.
LGD Storm back up to 26 Bloodstone charges after dying at 34, 35. All right, let's talk about Mega Creep defense. OG not GGing out just yet. They have Empower. They have Juggernaut. Queen of Pain, 25 already as well. These some decent heroes against big creeps. But LGD is going to just wait for the next Roche, next Aegis. Oh, hold on. OG going to take that away. If they could get the Aegis.
You say take away. They're going to try.
They thought about it.
LGD have a double damage rune packed in the cannon of maybe to go with the Lincoln Sphere he just picked up. So if he BKBs here, there's only an Omni Slash and
RP, I guess.
Perhaps a Winter Wyvern ult to even break that Lincoln. So yeah, sure you can RP him, but the question is, can you kill him? And oh, by the way, there's a Sven. Butterfly was completed. MKB en route, and now a jump in. Commitment from Maybe finds another. And now Ana tries to respond. He jumps in. The team wants to set up on this. This is a dangerous play. Not sure about this from OG. They got to get out. Fly in position. He has the Winter's Curse, but already.
Okay.
Sven actually dropping pretty low here. Good volley of nukes.
S4.
Do they commit for round 2? They forced out the BKB. They know the storm's not there. The base is being shoved in. The creeps are doing the work, relieving LGD of their watch for now. Still that Roche lingers. The wards are ready. LGD looking for the next Aegis, the next cheese. We keep our eyes on buyback as well through it all. They've got 3 to their names, only 1 for the Queen of Pain. On the OG side, they're about to be down quite a few lives, Lumi. LGD might be able to cinch the noose now. But they're going to be patient about it. Bottom lane pushing in, top lane pushing in, farming up, perhaps trying to get their buybacks. They win this game, they move on, they take the series. They lose somehow. OG are going to have a lot of momentum in that crazy game 3.
If LG loses this game, this is going to be a hell of a comeback. OG.
We have seen 3 mega creep comebacks in TI history, I believe. The EGE home series last year, 2 in the group stages this year.
But did they have this kind of a lead? 26k net worth lead, a Storm that is immortal, a Sven that is cleaving so much damage.
It's the stuff of legends, the stuff of destiny. If OG get their way, a lot of ifs, a lot of question marks. Not the position you want to be in as an OG fan. This is all they have left.
Creeps streaming in. Again, the creeps aren't the biggest issue here. OG can defend.
Levin's fishing, he's got the refresher. BKB didn't get off the lasso very early, but now he wrangles in no-tail. He's got another lasso available. RP in control, but there's the RP. S4 with the trade. Guapo over the top, skewering to the side, but maybe on the back lines. Wrecks them all, 3 dead. Look for more. Bloodstone charges piling in. No-tails next. They keep on going. No buybacks on 3. The end is nigh.
GG.
LGD slay the beast. They move on. I know some on the panel said they weren't sure about LGD, felt like they might have been, you know, towards the bottom half of the teams that came to this tournament from China.
Unpredictable drafting.
Unpredictable drafting?
No, they said predictable drafting.
Maybe not the case. And even if it was, if you see it coming, can you stop it? That's the question now with LGD.
Yeah, I like the fact that OG made the adjustment on game 2. They tried to take a faster game onto LGD, but LGD showing some very strong resilience. Shades of the old LGD where they lose the lanes and just come back and win the mid game through some amazing team fights. That Roshan fight where both Storm, Sven, and the Batrider just jump in and steal the Aegis away from OG, taking away that momentum. I think that was where the game really turned.
This is a bitter pill to swallow for OG, for their fans, and with their exit goes one of our last remaining TI champions, S4. Out of the running, is anyone still there to carry the crown of a 2-time TI champion?
Faith,
I believe it's just Faith
from
now.
newbie. He's just sitting in his hotel room. He's like, easy TI.
Well, we already heard, it's a big deal for some of these players.
Yeah,
we already heard
sure.
Sumail say, you know, I can't root for newbie even though I like SC because I don't want anyone to get 2 TI's championships first.
Well, still a lot more Dota left to be played before we get a TI champion.
And it's a lot of determination, scrappy performance from this LGD team. Seem to be gaining steam here in the lower bracket as the tournament goes deeper.
Yeah, I honestly thought that OG would be the team that make the deep run. I thought they would have come in and taken down LGD, but LGD just, both games, very few mistakes. They just did well.
4-time major champions, but it's just something about TI that OG just can't seem to get it together to make that run. LGD backslaps, handshakes, but kind of cool, calm and collected overall. They don't seem to be overrun with emotion, and they do have quite the journey still in the lower bracket if they want to go deeper in this tournament.
Yeah, no time to be celebrating right now for LGD. Still a long run. I think they feel confident that they could actually make a deep run. Would not surprise me if it's something like LGD in the grand finals.
I feel like they may have played their best Dota today. And with that, we're going to head back to the panel to break it down and get some post-game interviews and thoughts.
Thank you, gentlemen. Indeed, with 6 teams now remaining at TI, 4 of them Chinese, we are all blown away. And of course, with this, there's a very interesting little factoid of all the bracket predictions that are out there, only one person has a bracket that isn't wrong. Only one in the world. There's one guy. That is the degree to which this is insane.
That'd be cool if you got some sort of prize for that.
He's actually being brought to TI8 with a VIP ticket. Oh. Well, I don't know if he knows that yet, but he is. That's what I was told. So congrats to you. One person. LGD. Bulba, you told me that last night you had a dream and you now understand the meta, and you were watching that game and you're like, I can see so clearly what the meta is now. Walk me through it.
Well, the big thing is like these Chinese teams, like looking at that game, I see only one win condition for LGD or for OG, and it was the Jug to get farmed. But I think No-Tail actually played so well that game. I'm sure, somewhere in some dark part of the internet, people are probably flaming him, saying, why No-Tail didn't carry my game, guys? Why No-Tail did not carry OG? Why did he fail me again? Let me tell you, you are completely wrong. That guy played out of his mind. He put all his heart into that game. I have never, in this entire tournament, I have not, he played so well that game. It was a really hard draft for him to play, but his early game, his first 15 minutes was so good. And it was hard for him to win still. It was a really hard game for Jug to carry. But he made all the right rotations. He played honestly perfect. And then at some point, his hero is going to become a creep to Sven. And no matter how farmed he is, he's going to get cleaved, or he's just going to get one shot, even if Wyvern can save him.
Yeah.
So it was just it was a really hard game, I feel, for OG to win. Their cores don't match up well versus what Radiant had. And these Chinese teams, if you give them good core matchups, and you don't win the early game really hard, it's too hard to beat them right now. Because that's what I noticed in all these games. If you watch all the really good Chinese teams, their core matchups are too good. They favor. And at TI, what Sumel said yesterday, in scrims, or in some group stages, or even online tournaments, you can play you play fast, and you're not afraid. You're not afraid of running at these guys in their jungle, and you're not afraid of killing them, and you're not maybe you have worse late game, but at this tournament, it's a lot scarier there, because you're one mistake and you lose. Even the most cocky player in the world, he might make this one mistake that might cost his team thousands of dollars, and that goes into, regardless if you cannot think about it or not, it will be in your head. And that's why it's these Chinese teams, they're picking such scaling lineups. And it's very similar to what happened last year. The two top teams, Wings and DC, they also picked very strong scaling lineups.
Yeah, you brought up the idea of the triple threat. If we just take a look at the match MVP, in this lineup, of course, they have the Sven doing amazing work, constantly bursting everyone down. They have the Storm Spirit diving in, of course, the match MVP, picking off characters, but then also the Shadow Shaman, being able to throw down Serpent Wards to push towers. And you were saying that it feels like those 3 threats all together were so difficult to deal with. PyCat, you agree with the pick for MVP being the Storm Spirit in this game?
Yeah, definitely. I think he had a very good performance. Maybe he's really stepped up. He's always been that kind of star player, but you see now he's become more reliable, more solid. He keeps this performance, and he always keeps it up almost no matter what.
And if we had a runner-up, I'd probably pick Victoria on the Kunkka.
Right, yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Kunkka, he had a really good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, the X was so crucial for getting the first. X marks the spot to pick off the Magnus in the off lane, in the safe lane. And you immediately said, that's it. LGD, they got it. They won this game.
Yeah, it's just, I said in the draft, you pick the Magnus, and I felt like OG made such a big mistake going into this best of 3. Trying to care about this Magnus. I think they had 2 options, either ban it or play versus it. Yesterday we chose to play versus it, and honestly we probably screwed up. We probably should have banned it. It's just this hero, it's he doesn't even need to hit the RPs. When LGD played it, he just empowers his course and then they scale. And this Amy guy, he's super farm. Like people think maybe he's like this player that goes mid and he farms a lot and he play, but he's like some 8K player that runs at you. He doesn't stop running at you. He plays Leshrac and he runs at you. He plays Mirana and he runs at you. He plays Storm and he runs at you. And there are not many players like that. And like the reason I think these teams like LFY and LGD, they're doing really well at this tournament is because their players are not afraid. They're not afraid of these things when they're playing. And like you can see each of these teams, they have that one player that's not afraid. LFY has Inflame, and this guy is playing like a god in this tournament. LGD has Maybe, and he's playing like a god in this tournament. Yeah. And like Newbie has SCCC, and he's also playing really godly. And you can see all these teams, like they have this one player that's just stepping up, and everyone, like they're drafting really well around this player. Like LFY, they actually play around Inflame. People think they play around Monet, and they play around Super, but their entire team is playing around Inflame, if you see. So it's like Inflame is actually the player carrying this team for sure. If you see his Furon, if you see his Beastmaster, if you see in general how he plays, he's like Faith Beyond of last year. I kind of said it in the last panel. So it's like really cool to see how these Chinese teams are playing.
We have 11 over with KC. Their team is advancing on. They will be playing against Invictus Gaming tomorrow. Tell us, how you feeling, 11?
Yeah, 11, how are you feeling after all of that? And I'm going to set you up a little bit. This should be a question. It's going to come across more as a holy crap statement. Bulba was talking before the series began about how you're one of the scariest offlaners he's ever seen. Then we got to see you and all the big plays you made as Earthshaker in the first game. We saw you steal the Aegis in the second game. So the statement is holy crap. And how did you feel as you were going through all of that?
就是他意思就是说，就是你表现非常亮眼，就是波波在分析台上也说你是一个实力很强的顶尖的劣势路选手。那么无论是第一场你打的小牛，还是第二场的蝙蝠，他们就是说，就是我靠好厉害。然后你对这个有什么感受？
没什么感受，因为我很专业啊。
Now I don't understand that, but it sounded quick.
你很什么？
因为我是个很专业的3号位。
Oh, he said I'm a pro. I'm a very professional position 3 player.
It's just what you do. But did you feel any pressure as the game was going on? Because you're always playing at such a high level. We always see big plays from you, and yet watching it on the main stage at TI is something special to see. Are you feeling that pressure, or is this just another day?
那么你是就是你当然我们现在打到比赛后面的阶段，你有没有感到就是更多的一些压力，还是对你自己来说还是很轻松的就像另外一些比赛一样的发挥
？TI 跟别的比赛是很不一样的，有压力，但是也有动力。然后现在的我打 TI 并不会说，因为这是 TI， 这是败者组，这是决胜局。导致的发挥失常没有。
TI is unlike every other match. Obviously, like there's a lot of pressure, but there's motivation as well. So I'll never be like, oh, because this is TI, because this is the lower bracket, because this is an elimination match, that's gonna really change or have a huge difference on where I am, on how I'm playing.
You have a lot of momentum now. This is your 4th game that you've won in a row on the TI main stage. How are you planning to continue that momentum moving forward, to continue that energy and continue that focus?
那现在你们肯定是士气很充足，因为你们好像是连续胜了4场在败者组。那你们如何就是继续这样保持这样的状态和士气打下去？
因为我们很团结，我们老干爹是。除了比赛期间，其他时候基本上都一直行动，然后一直在培养团队气氛，所以我们很团结。
Well, we're very unified. We're very together. Like, regardless of whether we're playing or practicing or outside of the game, spend a lot of time together to build that cohesiveness and teamwork. So we're going to be as one.
I know you're very familiar playing against IG. Specifically, what do you think your strengths are as you head to face them next on this particular stage?
那么当然，你们下一轮对手就是 IG。那么面对他们的话，你们觉得自己有些什么比如说优势点？
面对 IG 的话，我们的优势点应该是其实我感觉我们打 IG 没有任何优势呀，就看打了。
Actually, I feel like we don't really have any advantages going into the match against IG. We'll just have to see how we do. Just come down to how the games go.
11, congratulations. Thanks for talking to us. We really appreciate it. And Jack, as always, thanks for your translation. All right, we're going to send it over to Maybe. Not Maybe.
Maybe it's me, Casey. Thank you. Yes. This morning, I actually bumped into Fly and Mad in the elevator, and they said hi, and they also said, "I hope we don't see you." And I was like, "What? That seems really rude. He seemed like a nice guy." Unfortunately, as 1437 dubbed me the Grim Reaper. Now, Fly, it isn't fun. You said it to me just before we came in, but let's kind of walk through your TI. I mean, admittedly, a curse has been broken in one way.
Yeah, I mean, it was rough. We started out in the group stage not the way we wanted to, and we dropped to the lower bracket. I definitely felt like something changed for us, and we were kind of able to bring it back, bring our confidence back. And as opposed to last year, I think we put up a much better fight. And I think that's what's important in the end, because at least this time, I'm sad we lost. It's gonna hurt me more later probably. Right now, I'm still kind of like in a weird state, but at least we went out fighting. We weren't afraid to try and do things, as opposed to last year where we just kind of died slowly. And this time we're like, at least we're gonna try to do something. But we got outplayed in the end, and maybe we took a wrong approach to the game, but it doesn't really matter. Like, they were the better team this day, and it sucks, It sucks to lose. Everybody knows that.
So just to clarify, you felt like you were you on that stage as opposed to, a shell of what you were capable of?
I definitely think this is not our best, but it was a lot closer to how we are than, as opposed to last year. So I am proud of my team for that. I really am.
And now, I think just the final question is, of course, anything you'd like to say to the fans. There was some eruptions during that game, some fantastic play from both sides. Anything to the fans, both at home and in this arena?
Yeah, I mean, I really want to thank all the fans that cheer for us. It really makes a big difference. And I'm sorry we let you guys down. It hurts. It hurts us a lot. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much for coming out and supporting us. It really means everything.
It means everything. Fly, thank you. I know you've got a lot to kind of process and talk through. There are lots of different definitions of champions, and I think in the majority of everyone here's eyes, you are indeed one. So thank you, Fly. I appreciate you taking the time. We'll go back to the studio.
Consolations to OG, of course. The team fighting on OG was just sensational, just not quite enough against LGD, who really just played out of their minds in those games. And with that, we now move on to top 6. One last game remains today, as Virtus Pro will be taking on Team Liquid. And as teams are in position, let's bring out Virtus Pro.